What if you could reprogram your brain so scrolling literally stops feeling fun? See, I didn't quit scrolling by using willpower. I did it by tricking my brain into getting bored. And that's exactly what I'll show you how to do in 4 parts. With a bonus tip at the end that contains my secret to basically guaranteeing that scrolling becomes boring forever. Seriously, by the end of this video, the next time you pick up your phone and start scrolling, you'll catch yourself thinking, damn, there's literally nothing interesting here. You'll go from wasting hours scrolling, regretting it, and repeating the cycle, to finally being the kind of person who just stops scrolling. I know I can genuinely help you get that result, because I've done it myself. I used to be scrolling for a whole day every week. Like seriously. My combined total amount of time spent scrolling used to be 24 hours a week, but now it's 0. So, what made scrolling go from fun to boring? Well, it's the same principles that make Breath of the Wild feel so addictive. Part 1, the decision. I know this might sound crazy, but hear me out. The first thing you need to do is to simply decide that scrolling is boring. Let me explain with Breath of the Wild. See, at the start of Breath of the Wild, you run around the starting area, happily slaying the enemies and picking up low-level loot. But once you leave, you never go back to the starting area of the game to kill the 3 bokoblins that live there. And that's because you perceive it as sort of a chore. You know your time is better spent exploring new areas or fighting higher leveled enemies. As crazy as it sounds, it's the same for scrolling. You only scroll because you believe it benefits or provides value to you in some way. When you decide it's boring and not worth your time, you'll start to see it that way. So you have to see scrolling as something you used to do in the past. Maybe scrolling was a little valuable to you back then, but now you're at a higher level, to the point where it doesn't give you any value at all. The trade-off of wasting your time isn't worth any amount of knowledge you could gain or fun you could have while scrolling. Here's another way to think about it. Take money. Our entire world functions around money. People use money to buy goods and services. That only works because everyone agrees to exchange money for products. But in reality, money is either just digital ones and zeros in a bank account, or a piece of paper with some fancy markings. Money has value because we decide it has value. Once you actually spend a week away from your phone and scrolling, your limiting beliefs will be broken. You realize, damn, scrolling really wasn't contributing to my life in any meaningful way at all. But of course, this one mindset alone isn't enough. You need to build the foundations. Part 2, build your world. Now that scrolling is boring, you have to make sure you don't fall back into it. You have to make your life so good that you would never even think about scrolling again. To do that, you're going to take all the time you gained from no longer scrolling every day and put it into something meaningful. See, in Breath of the Wild, there's these sprawling biomes with diverse landmarks, enemies, and weather. All those cool and interesting landscapes is part of what makes exploring in the game so exciting. But imagine if Breath of the Wild was just one massive field. Sure, the game might still be good, but part of what makes it so captivating would be lost. Because having different biomes that you can interact with in different ways makes the game more diverse and interesting. It's the same for scrolling. You don't want to just stop scrolling. You want to make your new life so much more interesting that you never want to go back. That's why you have to fill your time with hobbies that you genuinely enjoy. I also recommend you pick up hobbies that challenge you in different ways. Don't just have passive hobbies, but instead have a diverse array. Like maybe one hobby gets you outside and moving your body. For example, running. While another hobby gives you a chance to be creative, like painting. Then maybe your third hobby is something much more passive, like gaming. Of course, if you already have hobbies, then this is a great chance to reapply yourself and spend more time on them. While having different hobbies is great and it will make your life more interesting, it's actually not enough. There's actually something else you need to do to ensure that your new life is more interesting. Part 3, something to achieve. As well as adopting new hobbies, each one should have a goal for each session. Think about it like this. Just wandering around different biomes in Breath of the Wild wouldn't actually be all that enjoyable. What actually makes the game enjoyable is interacting with the world. It's because within those biomes there's so many different side quests to go on, towers to explore, and events to interact with. It's because there's things to discover and achieve. That's why the game feels so engaging. And so I want you to have a goal with your hobbies. But I don't want you to have goals in the traditional sense. Instead, I want you to replicate the same mindset of being in a new video game. When you start a new video game, you're constantly testing out the game's features and mechanics. You quickly become captivated and amazed at the game's unique qualities. So do the same thing with your hobbies. Follow your natural curiosity. Personally, when I'm running, sometimes I'll run in a different direction or area simply because I'm curious to see what's there. Sometimes I might see a hill and decide that I want to do hill sprinting. Sometimes I'll reach the end of a session and decide, no, I actually want to do more. So each session should have a goal that isn't necessarily planned out. That being said, it can be planned out. But the core purpose of this is to experiment in a sort of spontaneous way. You don't want to make the goal hard, it just needs to be different. Trust me, if you do this, then you're far more likely to actually stick with your hobbies for a long period of time. Because you're not just doing the hobbies for the sake of doing them. Instead, you're doing what you want. You'll spend time doing the part of the hobby that made it so attractive to you in the first place. And yet, even with everything I've talked about, it's still not enough. There's actually one final thing you need to set this new lifestyle in stone. Part 4, have a purpose. You have to have some deeper purpose. Not only that, but you have to spend almost every day working on it. Think about it. Link never got distracted on his journey because he knew he had some deeper purpose. You might think that was slaying Ganon, but you'd actually be wrong. His goal was always far simpler than that. It was actually to save the people of Hyrule. So that not only meant slaying Ganon, but it also meant purging every single enemy and monster he came across. Link never had time to be distracted because his purpose was on the forefront of his mind. And so it should be the same for you too. Every single day, you should be doing something to work towards that big goal of yours. For me, that is YouTube and improving my skills at making videos. For you, it might be something completely different. Maybe it's studying or some kind of sport. Maybe it's business or developing skills for a particular job. Whatever that current purpose is for you, spend time actually working towards it. If you haven't already, then I highly recommend setting a longer term goal for your purpose. That way, when you achieve it, you'll know that you're making progress. Not only that, but it reinforces to you that deciding to quit scrolling really is one of the best decisions you can ever make. But of course, quitting scrolling is far easier said than done. After all, it's literally designed to keep you sucked in. But that's where this tactic I have comes into play. Honestly, this one change was probably one of the biggest reasons why I was able to quit scrolling. I kid you not, this simple change has probably saved me 100+ hours of my life. Bonus elimination. The secret to quitting scrolling and making it truly boring is to turn off your YouTube search history. I know, revolutionary, right? No, but seriously, trust me on this. Because if YouTube isn't keeping track of your search history, it can't push forwards videos that it knows you might find interesting and enjoy. Hence, if you see a short, it literally won't be interesting to you because YouTube literally doesn't have the data on you. It doesn't know what you like. Now, this does have the downside of removing your recommended feed. But for me, that trade-off is worth it. If I want to watch long-form content, then I simply find videos to watch either through searching or through my subscriptions. As a whole, implementing all of these mindsets into my life completely changed it, taking me from someone scrolling away years of my life to someone that forgets YouTube Shorts is even a thing. Eliminating my scrolling addiction is one of the best decisions I've ever made. Not only do I now actually spend my time on things I actually care about, but it's also led to me being able to build this YouTube channel. Of course, you will never be able to achieve the same result unless you make a change. So take action right now. I'm serious, I just gave you what is basically a full guide on making scrolling genuinely boring. So you'd be silly not to implement it. You could literally go turn off your search history right now. That single shift might change the entire course of your life. I know, because it changed mine. If you enjoy my content and you want to join a community of people looking to improve their lives, then check out my free community. It's basically a place where people come together and share their advice, helping each other improve their lives. I hope this video inspired you and led to a change in the way you live your daily life. Keep your sword sharp. Bye bye.